Hey guys, SpinoDude here and welcome back to another video. Today guys, we're going to be taking a look at a Recur toy. So Marvin, why don't you bring it on out? Thank you, Marvin. Alright guys, so today we're going to be taking a look at this. It is the Recur Deinosuchus from 2015. If you've been staying tuned to the channel, you'll remember that Recur reached out to me to ask if I could do some showcase videos on a few of their figures. We've got 4 of them to review on the channel coming up, and I've decided to start with this prehistoric reptile, the Deinosuchus. If you guys are interested in getting one of these for yourself, I'm going to put a link down below in the description to Recur's website where you can purchase one. So without further ado guys, why don't we dive straight into the review. Before we take a closer look at the figure, here are a few quick facts about Deinosuchus itself. Deinosuchus rugosus means terrible crocodile. It was an alligatoroid, not to be confused with an alligator, from the Cretaceous period of what is now North America. Deinosuchus was one of the largest reptiles of its time, possibly reaching over a whopping 40 feet long. Its current competition in size comes from the fellow reptiles Sarcosuchus and Purosaurus, both being estimated to be at least slightly larger. Fossils from the Tyrannosaurus, Albertosaurus, and Appalachiosaurus had tooth marks matching the teeth of Deinosuchus, indicating that this massive reptile tried to attack them. So without further ado guys, let's start taking a closer look at this awesome reptile. Alrighty guys, so here is the Deinosuchus by Recur. Now first of all, I'd like to say that I'm happy Recur decided to make a Deinosuchus for one of their toys for younger children, because Deinosuchus, it's a very popular species, but there really aren't too many figures of it, or toys in general of it, out there. For first impressions, I must say that for a toy striving to reach a younger audience here, I think the detail here is really nicely done. Also, if you didn't know, all of Recur's toys are squishy, so they're safe for younger children to play with. And this Deinosuchus is flexible all over, as you can see. You can move its limbs, you can open and close its jaw, you can bend its tail, and you can squish its body however you'd like. And there's no sharp points on this whatsoever. Even the teeth are nice and fat and squishy, so no little ones will hurt their fingers on it. Now, like I said, the detail on this toy is really nicely done. As you can see there, all of the scales and scutes are individually carved in the sculpt, and they look incredibly naturalistic. Zoomed in here, it almost looks like I'm holding a real reptile in my hands. We have very typical crocodilian-like large scutes and scales running down the back of the animal, all the way down to the tail. You can see the obviously larger scales that stick out towards the tip of the tail. The arms and feet are done nicely as well. You can see that they have some smaller scales carved out on them, and the claws are done in a black color. I have to say though, for such a massive reptile, this Deinosuchus looks a little bit on the thin side. The tail is very long as well, as you can see, in comparison to the size of the body overall. Since Deinosuchus is known from fragmentary remains, we don't really know how long the animal's tail was, but we can compare the animal to modern day reptiles for reference on reconstructions. Now the head on this Deinosuchus toy is really nicely done. I like all the scaling detail on it, and it has more of a cartoony look to it, which I kind of like because this is intended for a younger audience, like I said. You can see the eye is done in a glossy yellow-orange color there with a black slit, and you can see the nostrils are carved out on the front of the snout. The teeth are very large and chunky and rounded on the tips so that younger ones won't hurt their fingers if they put them inside the animal's mouth. It does make the teeth look a little bit too cartoony in my opinion, but like I said, this is a toy for a younger audience, so I think it works out. And the interior of the mouth has been sculpted and painted in a fleshy pink color, although there's not too much detail on the inside, as you can see. And like I demonstrated earlier, you can close the jaw because of the squishy material this toy is made out of. Now the color scheme here is a very typical crocodilian-like color scheme, but I must say whoever did the dry brushing on the scales with the black color over the yellowish brown color did a really nice job of bringing out the detail in those scales. The pose is also pretty nice, although it is very simple, but there's only so much you can do with an animal that has a very crocodilian or alligator-like body. It is a very stable pose though, so you won't see this figure tipping over if you're going to display it, but since this is meant for children, I can see children are going to be holding it and playing with it anyway. Alright, so why don't we do a quick measurement of this figure? So Marvin, why don't you bring out the tape measure? Thank you, Marvin. Alright, we've got our trusty tape measure now, so let's give this Deinosuchus a measure. So in terms of the length from the tip of the snout all the way to the tip of the tail, we are looking at about 13 inches, and in terms of the height at the highest point, which is the top of the tail there, we are looking at a little under 2 inches. And for a very quick comparison, I thought I'd bring out another prehistoric reptile, which is the Papodimetrodon, just so you guys who have this figure can get a basic idea of how big this Deinosuchus from Recur is. Alright guys, it's time for my overall rating on this toy, and with the Recur toys, I'm going to be rating them based on scientific accuracy because they are marketed as educational figures for children. I'm going to be rating them on quality and detail in the sculpt, and I'm going to be rating them on play value for children. So overall, I think this Deinosuchus from Recur deserves 3 stars out of 5, a good rating. I have a couple nitpicks with this figure. The first one is that the midsection looks a little bit thin here. I think if it was a bit wider, it would look a bit more naturalistic and sort of give the feeling that this Deinosuchus is a massive reptile. The tail also looks a tiny bit long to me, but it doesn't bother me too much. Also, the teeth are very large and sort of give this figure a cartoonish look, but I see why they had to do that for child play safety. So yeah, I think this is a great toy for children. There's a lot of play value with the softer material, and you really don't have to worry about your children getting hurt on these toys. So good job, Recur. I think this is a nice toy for the younger folks. Well, there we go guys, that was today's look at the Recur Deinosuchus from back in 2015. I think this is a great toy for younger kids, especially since Deinosuchus isn't portrayed too often in figure form. So I want to send out a thank you to Recur for sending this one out to the channel for us to do this review today. And if you guys want to get one of these Deinosuchus for yourself, I'm going to put a link down below in the description where you can purchase one. So anyway guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel. Also leave a comment telling me what you think of this Recur toy. So thank you so much guys for watching, and as always I will see you in my next video. Take care and bye bye.